Breaking news. The Madlanger Commission has turned its attention to a series of WhatsApp messages exchanged between Froz Khan, Mo Sayed, and Julius Malema. Before we dive into the details, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any breaking updates. During the Commission's proceedings, investigators examined the contents of these communications as part of their ongoing inquiry. The discussion focused on the nature of the messages, their timing, and whether they could have any relevance to the matters currently before the Commission.
Maybe I'm going too quickly here and I should slow down and everything should be flowed. Sorry.
You can tell who the source was when I spoke.
Solidarity on the Commission is breaking down, Chair.
Please continue, Mr. Shaskelson. Thank you.
Well, maybe if we can start at the top. The top, if we go one up, is the message that straddles 5963 and 5964, which was forwarded from Mr. Sayed at message time 101:31 on the 10th of June 2021. What this is a deleted photograph of someone. And underneath it, at the same time, there is a picture of an Operation Dudulo banner or poster, which says we'll be removing all illegal foreign nationals by force, calls for a meeting in Dipkloof Hall on the 16th of June, and has the threat, if you're operating illegally, you better pack and leave before 16 June. If we go over to the next page, still at the same time, and one sees that the first four messages all have the same time because they are in fact forwarded messages to General Khan from Mr. Sayed. He forwards, "Must I tell the General? Must be arrested tonight? Yes." So those are 5 messages that are forwarded messages with the same timestamp, and then Mr. Sayed explains from Juju. That's a message from Mr. Sayed to General Khan. And then what comes afterwards is another forwarded message which says, "Okay, done." So essentially what Mr. Sayed is communicating is that he has been asked by Mr. Malema to forward the first 5 messages to General Khan. Well, he's been asked by Mr. Malema to forward those messages to General Khan. He has, in the second last message with the timestamp 101:33, he explains to General Khan that it's from Mr. Malema, and then he forwards his response to Mr. Malema, which is, "Okay, done, I have forwarded these to the General." Now that takes place on the 10th of June. The very next day, if we go down to 5971, General Khan sends to Mr. Sayed draft questions for the Inspector General of Intelligence. And that is at 11th of June at message time 1:51:47. And again, we have a problem that we frequently had with these message times, that they're 2 hours out because they are UTC, not South African Standard Time. So the questions that General Khan has drafted are: convicted drug dealer and member in the agent program, and the name has been redacted, claims to be close friends with you. Is this true? 2, do you take instructions from this person, as he alleges he has a close relationship with you? 3, What gratification does the Inspector General of Intelligence enjoy from this person? For how long has the Inspector General been a captured public service servant of, and then that person? So these are draft questions that General Khan has prepared, which he is going to essentially ask Mr. Malema to arrange to be put to the Inspector General in Parliament through the EFF. If we go down to page 5975, and sorry, I just want to emphasize at that stage, General Khan is not dealing directly with Mr. Malema. He is sending messages to Mr. Sayed. But the channel is to Mr. Malema, whether Mr. Malema is aware of General Khan's motives or not. We see that because at 5975, Mr. Sayed sends back to General Khan questions that have now been formulated to the Minister of Police and to the Inspector General of Intelligence. And these questions, and in fact the name is not going to be redacted in these questions, I'm told the name's been mentioned publicly already. These questions that Mr. Sayed sends back read as follows. First, questions to Minister of Police, written reply. 1. Do you have any relationship with convicted drag lord? There's a misspelling of drug lord. Drag lord Tami Marimutu. If so, what's its nature and does it include discussing crime intelligence matters? 2. Have you been in contact with Tami Marimutu and discussed crime intelligence matters related to the Inspector General of Intelligence and the removal of General Jacobs as head of crime intelligence? 3. Have you had any discussions with convicted drug lord Tami Marimutu regarding the supposed deal made by former President Jacob Zuma and Major General Froz that he will use state intelligence resources to ensure the election of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma as president of the ANC? If so, what security clearance did Tami Marimutu attain to discuss crime intelligence matters with you as a minister? Those were the proposed questions to the Minister of Police, and the proposed questions to the Inspector General follow. 1. Do you have any relationship with convicted drug lord Tami Marimutu? If so, what is its nature and does it include discussing matters relating to crime intelligence? 2. Have you had any discussions with Tami Marimutu regarding the removal of General Peter Jacobs as head of crime intelligence? If so, what security clearance gives Tami Marimutu access to you as the Inspector General of Intelligence, particularly as it relates to discussions of crime intelligence matters? Mr. Sayed explains below, Juju sent me now. General Khan's response is, excellent, bro. Let's go to war. When are they sending it to him? And what one sees in the exchanges that follow is what one often sees in WhatsApp exchanges, where people respond to a message while the writer of that message is writing another message, and so you get responses that don't respond to the immediately preceding message. You have to work out what they respond to. So Mr. Sayed says, are you happy with the questions? In other words, are you satisfied with these questions that Mr. Malema has sent me to be put to the Minister of Police and the Inspector General of Intelligence? But then, in response to General Khan's question, when are they sending it to him, Mr. Sayed says, let me ask. Now answering whether he's happy with the questions, General Khan says, yes, bro, and then says, this should get him to lie, and in return, we can ask for his removal because he lied. So what General Khan is disclosing here is that the purpose of these questions is not to establish whether the Inspector General has a relationship of any nature with Timmy Marimutu. Rather, it's to trap the Inspector General into lying in an answer to Parliament and then to use the fact that he will have lied to orchestrate his removal. Mr. Syed is still responding to the previous inquiry of General Khan, which is when are they sending the questions, and he says at 65977 at 12 June 2021, 8:49, but I think it's been sent already. He then responds to General Khan's message saying, this will get him to lie and then we can get him removed, and he says, absolutely, he's going to deny it and then he's effed. Bye-bye P, ... And General Khan agrees with the abusive description of the Inspector General, says big P. Mr. Syed then says, when is it going to be fired off to them? And what we see later is that this is in fact a message that he has sent to Mr. Malema, which he's now forwarding to General Khan. The response is tomorrow. General Khan says they must fix up the spelling of drug in paragraph 1. In other words, Mr. Marimutu is a drug lord, not a drag lord. And he then, responding to when it's going to be fired off and tomorrow, he says, thanks, bro, much appreciated. And Mr. Syed then sends a screenshot of his exchanges with Mr. Malema, which show that the formulation of the question to the Inspector General of Intelligence came from Mr. Malema. That's the top of the screenshot. Paragraph 2, have you had any discussions with Timmy Marimutu regarding the removal of General Peter Jacobs as head of crime intelligence? If so, what security clearance gives Timmy Marimutu access to you as the Inspector General of Intelligence, particularly as it relates to discussions of crime intelligence matters? In fact, Mr. Syed, even before General Khan had picked up the drug lord problem, has already responded to Mr. Malema and said drug lord, not drag. And then Mr. Malema says the whole DR, I'm not sure what that relates to, but we then see a 2249 on the screenshot. If we go back up, 2249 is what we see at 2249 is when is it going to be fired off, and the answer comes tomorrow at 2258. If we go back up to 5977 and we add the 2 hours to the UTC times, we see that when is it going to be fired off to them, it's recorded as 8:58 p.m. You add the 2 hours, it's 10:58, and tomorrow 10:58 as well. So he has forwarded that exchange with Mr. Malema immediately that it happens, and has then, for good measure, added the screenshot. The next episode in this process takes place on the 13th of June. And it takes place, it's on page 5980. And there, maybe scroll down. And there, Mr. Syed forwards to General Khan a message about the progress of the questions. He says, Parliament will probably only process them on Monday, but they process them and then send to respective ministers and institutions. A week later, at 6002, we're now on the 20th of June. Mr. Syed forwards to General Khan a screenshot from Mr. Malema. And what the screenshot shows is that Mr. Sayed asks Mr. Malema, brother, when are you back? Mr. Malema says, tomorrow. Mr. Sayed says, okay, let's meet tomorrow evening, please, with our general. Mr. Malema says, sharp, and there is an XAP response from Mr. Sayed. General Khan thanks Mr. Malema for setting up the meeting. So thanks Mr. Sayed for setting up the meeting with Mr. Malema. And Mr. Sayed says, you are my brew, no need to thank me. That is the 20th of June. Now, I want to clarify what our issue with that, there's actually a further step before.
At this stage, the Commission is reviewing the evidence and no conclusions have been reached regarding what the messages ultimately mean. As the hearings continue, more details could emerge that may shed further light on the case. Stay with us for the latest developments as this story unfolds.
Mr. Sayed sends to General Khan a letter to the Minister of Police. That letter is in the exhibit bundle at page 298. And it is on the EFF letterhead. It is addressed to Mr. Beki Cele, Minister of Police, and it asks the questions about the Minister's relationship with Mr. Tumi Marumutu, who's described as drug lord Tumi Marumutu, and crime intelligence matters. It asks those questions in the same terms verbatim as were forwarded to General Khan by Mr. Sayed on the 11th of June. It's the extract bundle, I think it's called. Is it? Annexes bundle.
Got it. Exhibits is fine. There are two sets of exhibit bundles. That's why we were confused, by the way.
And if we look at that question that was posed to the Minister of Police, it is, apart from cleaning up the spelling errors, so drag lord becomes drug lord and intelligence is spelled correctly, it is verbatim the same as the question that was forwarded to General Khan by Mr. Sayed on the 11th of June.
Does the letter precede or come after the chats? I'm just looking at the dates.
So the letter in draft form that was forwarded from Mr. Sayed to General Khan was forwarded on the 11th of June. The letter itself that was sent to Minister Cele is dated 17 June. And it is provided to General Khan by Mr. Sayed on 21 June, which is the date on which, according to the screenshot, General Khan, Mr. Sayed, and Mr. Malema were going to meet. I want to clarify an issue here. The issue that we as evidence leaders raised with this process is not that General Khan raised questions about the relationship between the Inspector General and an alleged drug dealer. What the issue is that the chat suggests that the primary purpose of General Khan in raising the issues in the way that he did was to trick the then Inspector General of Intelligence, Dr. Dintwe, into lying, so that if he did lie, he could be removed from his position, a position in which he was exercising oversight over General Khan. And if General Khan had been genuinely concerned about the relationship between Dr. Dintwe and Mr. Marumutu, we would have expected him to take the issue up through the appropriate channels. Instead, what he did was he used his relationship with an alleged tobacco smuggler to plant questions to the Inspector General through the EFF in the hope of trapping the Inspector General in a lie to Parliament. That was what his purpose was. There is a secondary concern. And the secondary concern is that this process suggests that something of a quid pro quo was taking place, if we look at the chronology. We've already seen that immediately preceding the exchanges relating to the Inspector General, a day before, literally a day before General Khan formulated his draft question, a message had been communicated by Mr. Sayed to General Khan, ostensibly on behalf of Mr. Malema and apparently asking for the arrest of persons making threats to foreign nationals on behalf of Operation Dudula. That took place on the 10th of June, that message, that series of messages. General Khan on the 11th sends his message suggesting a question to the Inspector General. And while I commend Mr. Malema for his stance against xenophobic lawlessness, the chats suggest that General Khan saw this as an opportunity to use Mr. Malema's position within the EFF to attempt to trick the Inspector General into a lie that may provide a basis for having him removed. So Mr. Malema sends essentially a complaint about a threat of lawless action by Operation Dudula on the 10th and calls for action to be taken. The next day, General Khan writes back with a question for the Inspector General. It has the appearance of a quid pro quo. There is a...
Sorry, what are we to make of the use of a conduit or a third party in these exchanges?
The use of the conduit is problematic in its own right. And if we go further, because there are further concerns about quid pro quo, where the use of the conduit becomes particularly problematic. But it seems to me that that if General Khan is genuinely wanting questions raised in Parliament, he has appropriate means of doing that without using conduits. And certainly if he wants Mr. Malema to post questions, he should be asking Mr. Malema directly. It may be that at this stage he didn't have a line of direct communication to Mr. Malema. That looks to be the case because, as we'll see later, a few months after this, Mr. Sayed gives him contact details for Mr. Malema. But Mr. Sayed's role in all of this is very problematic. Mr. Sayed belongs to a company which, on its own admission, has been engaged in fraudulent and corrupt activity historically, which is alleged to, and tax evasion, and which is alleged to be continuing to do that at the time that this is happening. And he's not an appropriate person for General Khan to be engaging with in relation to matters of this nature, whatever their personal relationship. But I do want to turn to the other issues in relation to quid pro quo, because we've looked at one part of the chronology.
Just listen, before you do that, it seems to me that a further issue of concern may be, at least on the face of it, that General Khan may well have obtained the information behind these questions by virtue of his position, and then he's using information that he would have, if there's any truth to what is posed, and which the Inspector General is expected to lie about, there's that possibility that he would have obtained this information by virtue of his position as an intelligence police officer, and then he's using that information inappropriately.
Inspector Baloy, we've been trying to Inspector Baloy, Commissioner Baloy, we've been trying to locate former Inspector General Dintwe to get a statement to explain this. We haven't yet been able to get a statement from him, but what we have seen is a press report purporting to quote him on this issue. And what he says is that he and General Khan together had a meeting with Mr. Marimutu, in which event what this process would have been about is not about General Khan using his crime intelligence surveillance capacities to find something out about the Inspector General, but actually having had a meeting with the Inspector General and Mr. Marimutu, and hoping that because he wasn't present at the joint standing committee on intelligence when pushed in relation to an issue regarding Mr. Marimutu, the Inspector General would lie. So I'm not sure that your concern is present, but again, we have to get the full story from the former Inspector General, and in due course we hope to do so.
Ms. Jaskelson, it would still be improper. Leave aside the EFF and leave aside what Mr. Syed does for a living. If General Khan was in this meeting with the Inspector General and Mr. Marimutu, those are crime intelligence issues that are sensitive. They are not to be shared with just anybody, whether they are your friends or acquaintances. Leave aside what they do for a living. Leave aside the political party, just that aspect.
No, I take that absolutely, Commissioner Kumalo.
Inspector Kumalo.
But there is another serious concern about quid pro quo if we look back at the chronology. We've looked at a process that runs from 10 June, when the Operation Dudula messages are sent, through to 21 June, when the letter to the Minister of Police is sent. In the middle of that process, on the 15th of June, if we go to page 5990, we come to the Santon case number that I have mentioned previously. And there we see that it's now 4 days after General Khan has sent his draft question to the Inspector General, to Mr. Malema through Mr. Syed. Mr. Syed forwards to General Khan a request from Mr. Malema. And that is at the message on page 5990 at message time 1207 on the 15th of June, where Mr. Syed forwards the message, need to know the complaint in case number Santon case 79/07/2019, and says Juju Brew. And General Khan says, okay, thanks. Now, if we go to the next page, General Khan responds very promptly. What he's done is he's got onto the SAP's computerized database of cases, and he sends what looks like a photograph or a screenshot from that database, which identifies who the complainant is in that case. And we see that at the top of 5991. Now, and that screen that we see, which he sends to Mr. Sayed, identifies the complainant as Mr. Ruplal. And Mr. Sayed thanks him for it, and then for good measure, General Khan sends through not only Mr. Ruplal's name, which appears from the screen, but also his address, which wasn't even asked for. Now, Mr. Ruplal was the curator of the VBS Bank. And that case, Santon case 76/07/2019, was a case that he had instituted in relation to frauds concerning the VBS Bank. Now, Mr. Malema has been implicated in the VBS Bank scandal. He is implicated in the plea explanation affidavit of the former VBS chair, Mr. Matodzi, who pleaded guilty and was sentenced to an effective 15 years of imprisonment for his role in the scandal. He stated in his plea explanation affidavit that in an attempt to buy protection, political protection from the EFF for VBS, when inquiries were starting to be made in relation to VBS. In an attempt to buy political protection from the EFF, he had paid bribes of millions of rands to Mr. Malema and to Mr. Floyd Shivambu in the guise of making donations to the EFF. The relevant extract from the affidavit of Mr. Matodzi is at the exhibit bundle, page 300 to 301. Don't propose to read it because that's been the subject of separate investigations. But what it shows is that Mr. Malema's concern about this case number was because it related to an issue whether rightly or wrongly someone was implicating him. And getting the name of the complainant in that case was not something to which Mr. Malema was entitled, and was not something which General Khan was entitled to provide. Still less the address of the complainant.